Dance Arts of Columbia provides fitness fun for everyone from 3 years old to adults. Dance Arts is a good environment where the friendly staff makes you feel comfortable. Dance Arts feels that dance is an art form that you can experience firsthand by learning tap, jazz, modern, musical theater, lyrical, and ballet. Dance Arts urges you to enjoy a sense of accomplishment while getting fit and having fun. For class information, call 875-1569. Dance Arts of Columbia, serving Columbia since 1979.
Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends. This is Friday, it's October the 7th, and we've got a perfect program to go into the weekend. Larry Brown is with us, singer, songwriter,
morning,
storyteller, all-around nice person, Larry Brown.
Thank you.
Now, we're not going to sing today, or you're not going to sing today.
Story.
You're going to tell a story. And this one is called Into the Window?
Through the Window.
Oh, Through the Window. What's it about?
Well, you'll find out.
Okay. All right. Well, then, without any further ado, I'll introduce Larry Brown with the story Through the Window.
Amy Timms looked at the mirror, saw her prematurely gray hair and the wrinkles beginning to crowd around her eyes. As she pulled her hair back into a tight bun and put powder to her face, she thought, where has my life gone? I've been teaching for 20 years, and all I have to show are the memories of adolescent kids who grow up and leave town. Well, she went through her normal preparations of the day, dressed in her usual black outfit, got her satchel of books and graded papers, and walked the 6 blocks just before dawn to Elm Creek High School. As she walked along, she rehearsed her life. She was born shortly after her father went off to World War I and never came back. She was raised by her mother and then in turn took care of her mother, who became ill and died at age 50. Amy graduated from high school and basically began teaching school herself then. After one summer at Kearney State Teachers College, 4 years in a one-room country schoolhouse, then she began teaching Latin at Elm Creek High School, where she was now. Well, as she arrived at the school just before dawn, she went to the blackboard and began to write the lesson for the day. Something caught her attention out of the corner of her eye, and she looked through the window, and there, running up the sidewalk to the school, was a high school girl. But dressed strangely, she had baggy denim pants on, slung low with her midriff exposed and a little bit of a blouse, several earrings, and a pink streak of hair. Amy looked through the window and was startled for a moment and could see the girl was looking back at her somewhat startled, and Amy thought to herself, it's a little too early for Halloween costumes. Oh, maybe there's a dress rehearsal for a play today. And Amy then saw the girl run into the school and she went back to the blackboard. After she was finished getting the lesson on the blackboard, she sat down at her desk and penned a letter to the superintendent. She was resigning. As soon as it was possible, she was going to be on a train for Colorado. She would get on the Denver Zephyr and never look back at Elm Creek. It was in the fall of 2001 that Eleanor Bash had come back from college to visit her mother on break in her senior year, ready to attend homecoming at Elm Creek High. And the two of them were sitting in the kitchen, and they were talking, and Eleanor's mother said, "Oh, Eleanor, I was remembering as I was thinking of you coming home that when you were 16-year-old, I thought you'd never make it." And Eleanor kind of said, "Well, Mom, I wasn't going to, and I knew I was so distressed, but I remember exactly the moment in which I turned around. It was October 7th, 1996. I was running to the school. I was late getting to band rehearsal, and I was mad. I didn't want to go to band, and I was mad at you for making me to go to band. And as I was running up to the school, I noticed that the lights of the English room were on. That was a bit strange to be that early. And there was this old woman at the blackboard. She was dressed in black. She had gray hair pulled back in a bun. She looked goth to me. Well, I was startled to see her, and I thought, it's a bit early for teachers to be wearing Halloween costumes. And for a moment, the two of us looked at each other, and then she just disappeared. Well, I went on to school, and the rest of that day, I'd ask around if anybody had seen an old woman in the English room, and no one had. So I couldn't get it out of my mind. And now I know, as I look back, it was that moment that I first began to think that I would be a teacher. It was like it hit me in the stomach and wouldn't go away. Eleanor's mother looked at her, and it's like a light bulb came on in her mind. She got up from the kitchen table, went into the other room, came back out, and laid on the table an old photograph album. And she was shuffling through the papers, and she said, "Eleanor, look at this one." And Eleanor looked and said, it's her. I'd recognize her anywhere. Who is this woman?" And Eleanor's mother began to cry a little bit as she got her breath and said, "She used to teach Latin in the high school here at Elm Creek for nearly 20 years. And in the fall of 1956, she just up and went to Colorado. She met a man named Frank. They were married. She was 40 years old, had a child the next year. Frank was a bit older, and he died in 1977, and she never really did get over his death and died herself a year later. Well, their daughter Jane came back to live in Elm Creek, to live on the family property. Eleanor interrupted her mother, said, "Mama, you're that Jane." Eleanor's mama said, "Well, you're looking at a photograph of your grandmother. You never were interested in seeing those old photographs of your grandparents. You never knew your grandparents. They were gone before you were born. You were not interested in my stories about them. And I always used to say, you never knew your grandparents, but now I know you knew your grandmother, Miss Amy Timms." And the two of them embraced, and with silent tears, a circle was complete.
Yeah. That is a beautiful story, Larry. And that's an original story, or is it a true story?
It's an original story.
With truth to it.
It contains truth,
Yes,
of course.
yes. And it really is outstanding. It makes you stop and think and realize that there's a lot more to life than we give credit to.
Sure, sure. We
Yeah.
see and experience things that won't fit into our rational frameworks.
Oh, I see things that aren't rational all the time.
And sometimes they're the things that do motivate us.
That is exactly right. It's a beautiful story, and if people want to hear more of your stories or your songs or get to know you better, what can they do?
Well, you may contact me by email at brownstory@hotmail.com, or look at my website, www.brownstory.com.
3 W's, right?
www.brownstory.com, yes.
Right, okay. Any events coming up in the near future?
Oh, I'm telling at schools and libraries. October's a busy month for me. Lots
okay.
of ghost
All
town.
right, and Halloween too, I imagine.
Oh yes.
Larry Brown, thank you so much for coming by. It's always a pleasure to have you here, and that was a great story.
Thank you.
Monday, Voluntary Action Center and the League of Women Voters. Our program directed by Travis McMillan of the Reynolds Journalism Institute. Audio today, Kyle Felling filling in for Pat Akers. Our floor director is Austin Fact, and our assistant producer and guest coordinator, Uncle James Mauser. If you'd like to watch this program or listen to it again with that story, go to kbia.org, click on Radio Friends, sign up for a vodcast or a podcast. It's free. See you Monday. Bye-bye.